In this video, I want to show you how to load presets and then also how to save presets for the Fat channel. It can be extremely useful if you're really trying to get your mix set up quickly in a live sound situation. And Studio Live has really useful presets for all of the main instruments you'd normally find in a band. So here's how this works. We're going to start with the kick. On the kick, to load a preset for a kick, we just hit load up here on the Fat channel. And then the LCD display automatically changes to the channel preset page. And here we have memories that you can select with the value wheel or the value knob. And you can see to start right off, you can select from a few different kick presets. And then if you keep going up, you can get into different categories of drums, bass, guitar, keys. Here's for horns, percussion, vocals, and then empty locations where you can store your own stuff. So let's just go back here and load a kick preset. I'm going to load from memory 2. All I've done here is I've selected this. I hit load to get it into the load mode. And then to actually load it, I hit recall right over here in the LCD display master control area. So watch the Fat channel. And now it magically goes into this setup. Let's just listen to that. All right, that sounds pretty good. We've got a basic setup. We might need to tweak the threshold, particularly on the gate, so let's do that. All right, we're going to just move right on to the snare. Now, check it out. The load button will stay on when I select the snare channel. I'll go ahead and solo the snare. I don't have to keep hitting load. I can actually go right down the line and just keep hitting select, dial in the sound I want, hit recall in all the channels. So in a matter of about a minute, you can dial in presets for your entire show. So let's choose something for the snare. Select snare. We'll go over here to snare 1. Now I'm going to play back as I do this so you can hear it, and I'll load a couple of these snares. So when you're dealing with presets, something like the threshold and the gate is possibly going to be set wrong. Like it might not have enough signal to actually open the gate. So you need to be prepared to adjust this knob as you load presets, or just turn the gate off initially after you've loaded the preset. The other thing is the preset dials in certain frequency ranges, and there's a gain and boost. But of course, you're going to want to adjust these to match the actual sound of what's going on stage. So let's continue and try to load a preset for the overheads. So we'll select the overheads and solo them. I'll turn it on so you can hear it, and then you can hear the difference. Now there you could see that particular preset really rolls off the low end. That'd be pretty typical for overheads to really take out the low end. So that's some examples of loading presets. Now, in order to save your own preset, all you need to do is hit the save button and then put in the category and put in the name. Now what I like to do is set a preset for kind of a default setting. I'm going to go over here on my blank channel and adjust it, or show you kind of how I would adjust this to create my own default or 0 Fat channel preset. So to start off with, at this side of the board, I'm going to turn the frequency down. I've got the gate set up where the gate is off. If it's on, then I have the threshold all the way down, but I'm going to start with it off. On the compressor, we'll start with the compressor on and turn down slightly with about a 2-to-1 ratio. This is just enough where it won't really come in too strongly. I've also chosen a lower attack and lower release. The specifics of these you would tailor to however it is that you'd like to run sound. We'll take the actual gain, makeup gain off. Now over here, I set up the equalizer a little bit differently than the default setting. So I'm going to put in low frequency shelf and put this on 90. These are just settings that I like to start with. It's not going to do anything, but it's going to be set up where as I start to cut and boost, it's set at a slightly lower frequency. And then on the mids, I think it's fine with these right in the middle, turned on, with the high Q off. And then for the high mids, I'm going to turn this up just a little bit to 2.4, and we'll turn that off. And then we'll turn this all the way up to 12K and leave that in the middle and leave that on shelf. So that's kind of a nice starting point that I like to use for a fat channel. So let's now save this as a preset. To do that, we just hit save, and now we go into the save screen. And we can increment and decrement through all of these parameters using the previous button and the next button. Now I want to save this to a memory location. One way would be to go out here and find an unused location. But actually I'm going to use this a lot, so I'm going to come down here and actually replace kick 1. Kick 1 and kick 2 are almost identical in the factory presets, so I'm just going to go ahead and overwrite that. Now I'm going to go to the category. You could select from all of these categories that we flipped through before. I'm going to go to miscellaneous, and then here where it says overhead rock, that is just the last thing that I happen to load. I'm going to overwrite that by dialing in right here with all the numbers. This will take me a little while. This is a little challenging to do on here, but what I want to do is create one that's called 0 for zeroing the fat channel. So I need an E, and after I get this done, then I'll come back and explain the rest. Alright, so after the word 0, I want to put in a space. So I go where I want the space to be. So I need to increment to the next character because the space will go right where the cursor is highlighted. And then I hit tap, and it says right here, use tap for space. So I'll go ahead and do that. Alright, so for the name, I want it to say 0 fat channel. And now I've got the name in there the way I'd like. I'm going to put it in memory 1. Miscellaneous. It's going to override my kick 1, and then it says push store. That means push to store. So I'm going to hit store, and now my 0 fat channel is always right here when I come into this menu. So let's just go back to, say, the guitar setting here. I'm going to select, hit load, and then 0 fat channel is the very first thing that comes up. So then I push recall, and that puts me right where I want to start. If I want to load that into the B side of that fat channel, then I'll just hit this and load it again, and now I've got it on the B side as well. So that's how you load and save fat channel presets with the Studio Live AI board. I showed you how to load the factory presets, and then I just showed you how to create your own 0 fat channel preset that you can use to load and get your fat channel back to a default setting very quickly. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.